Hello, my name is Kevin McCole and I'm a Managing Director at the UKIBC Business Council. I'm talking to you today from home in London about an increasingly important topic, supply chain migration from China and the widespread expectation that India will be a major beneficiary of such migration. But first, I think we have to ask, is it realistic to expect manufacturers to up and leave China? I think the answer is maybe, but not in any significant numbers. Instead, what I suspect will happen is that there will be manufacturers who want to reduce the China reliance by adding factories in one or two additional locations. Now, for India to successfully attract this or any other advanced manufacturing investment, it's really important that the centre and the state governments adopt policies and approaches that take into account the way supply chain manufacturing trade will flow in the future. Now, what do I mean by this? There are three trends in manufacturing trade that I'd like to highlight. The first is that increasingly supply chains are regional rather than global in nature, with manufacturers clustering close to the end consumer. So regardless of whether the consumers are in North America, Europe or Asia, the supply chains servicing them will be based in those geographies. The second point is that manufacturers are also increasingly making location decisions based on quality rather than cost. There was a January 2019 McKinsey report that stressed that only 18% of manufacturing location decisions were based on labour costs. Thirdly, the same report from McKinsey highlighted that supply chain trade is becoming more knowledge intensive, with increasing value in IP, intellectual property, research and development, and indeed value in the brands themselves. So, what does India need to do to attract investment in this context? I would recommend 5 areas for policy focus. First area is that India should increase its efforts to make the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership a success. If it does succeed, this would expand the opportunity for manufacturers in India to be at the heart of supply chains servicing the increasingly rich consumers all across Asia. Now, many of you will recognise the 4 other reform areas I want to focus on, as Mr. Modi highlighted them in a speech he made on the 12th of May. These are land, labour, liquidity and law. That's the 4 L's as they've become known. This is part plagiarism on my part, but at the same time, I want to draw the focus out from beyond the core message that Mr. Modi transmitted. So, labour, as well as making its labour markets more flexible, what I'm saying is that India will need to focus on developing a workforce that has the skills of the future. This means a focus on STEM subjects and on digital and indeed creative skills as well. Land, this for me is about location and connectivity. Land for manufacturers needs to be in the right place. That is, close to efficient ports and to the skilled workers. And the land needs to be well connected by road and rail. So infrastructure is really important here too. Number 4 is laws. As the UKIBC's Ease of Doing Business report repeatedly highlights, every year for the last 5 years, it's highlighted that legal and regulatory issues are the main barriers to investment in India. So reform of the legal system is critical. The final reform area is liquidity. Now, liquidity is really important, but not just for companies, it's also important for households. If manufacturing supply chains are clustering close to the end consumers, then India needs to accelerate its GDP per capita growth. Now, one reason I believe that China will remain important for global manufacturers is that it is now a vast, valuable consumer market in its own right. It's not just exporting. People are in China to sell in China. So, in summary, I think India is a really good opportunity to bring in more high-value manufacturing investment. And Mr. Modi is right to focus on those 4 L's. But so long as the approach to those 4 L's is that broader sense I've outlined above. And alongside these reforms, I think India needs to forge those closer regional trade links. And taken together, I think all of these measures will make India much more competitive and therefore much more attractive to Indian investors. Now, if you've got any comments or questions on advanced manufacturing supply chain, or indeed any other aspect of the UK-India trade and investment relationship, please get in touch. The best way to do that is by email, and that can be done to kevin.mccole@ukibc.com. Until then, looking forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye.